Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to the Today's Restaurant News Networking Group, Chapter 1. We are a group of restaurant vendors who are here to help each other grow their businesses and to help any restaurant owner, manager, and chef with any problems they might have. If you'd like to join us or get information about us, give us a call at 561-620-8888. And go to our website at trnusa.com. Or if you'd like to look at the video of the meetings, you can go to our YouTube page at Today's Restaurant and subscribe and like the video. We'd appreciate it. So we were just discussing shows, etc. Any other information that anybody has to give relating to that? Okay. I came across this hold on. I came across this survey that I thought was kind of comical, and I thought I'd just share it with you. This is the top food crimes according to Italians. This was a survey that was done in Italy. So I'm going to do this in reverse order, like David Letterman with the top 10. Okay, worst food crimes and the top 10. Number 10, using a knife and fork to eat pizza. I disagree with that one, but that's me personally. If I was in New York, never.
If you've ever had jaw surgery, the only way you can eat pizza is a knife and fork. So
I'm half Italian. I was brought up to put it in your hand. My husband is from Norway. He eats it with a fork and knife.
Well, I do too, sometimes, but it's because of my mustache.
It depends on the kind of pizza.
Yeah.
Number 9, asking for cheese on a meal containing seafood.
Ew.
That's what you said before. Okay. Number 8, putting ketchup on pizza.
Agree with that one.
I agree.
Number 7, using the wrong type of pasta for a particular dish.
There is no wrong kind of pasta.
This is like
Depending on the sauces and stuff, the different types make a difference. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that one. My husband's Italian. I would definitely agree with that one.
Ah.
Number 6, adding cream to carbonara.
Ew.
That would make it really thick.
Yeah.
Number 5, refusing to share the food with others. You know, usually it's a family get together. Number 4, I'm reading the wrong one. I'm sorry. Number 5 is ordering garlic bread with pasta.
That's not terrible.
I always do.
Number 4.
I think the error is they should give it to you. You don't have to order it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're in any kind of a decent restaurant.
I don't know, for some reason, number 4 is a repeat, a meal containing seafood with the cheese, and forget that. Number 3, ordering pineapple on a pizza.
Never.
I agree 100%.
Never.
I agree with that one 110%. And the number 1 is asking for ketchup for the pasta. That's a horrible one. I mean, it's bad enough.
Kids like noodles and ketchup. It's not a big deal.
3 years old.
Yeah, I think that's a kid thing to get kids to start eating other foods.
Yeah.
For a 3-year-old, yeah.
I just thought it was kind of funny coming from Italy.
Well,
Good.
Italians certainly like to eat. I know my grandfather could eat a lot, but and loved his food and had his wine with it. And
Yeah. I know I've been
everything's
to
around food. Mm.
I got some great Italian food stories, but I'm not going to get into it here.
Thank you.
It's too long. Um, I think what we would do is let's do our intros first, and then I have another article I want to share with you. So, Randy, why don't you start us off?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. Randy here with Heartland Payroll, coming live remotely from my car, which is actually my first office at this point. Heartland Payroll, we are a Fortune 500 payroll and HR company. We specialize in anything and everything from startups to acquisitions to multi-ID users. We do have 2 exciting new shows coming up, part of my UFG, my United Franchise Group, held here in Del Rey, and then up in Orlando in June. It's the Graze Craze franchise, one of the fastest franchise growths in the United States. They're estimating anywhere between 70 to 80 new facilities this year. And then one of my favorites now is the Great Greek Mediterranean, which is going to be in July. So if you get a chance to come down, come visit, and very exciting times right now.
Good. Why don't you have some information you could send me on all the shows?
Absolutely. I'll do it after the call.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Darren,
Good
morning.
morning, everybody. Darren Gall, Tracy.net. We are a communications consulting and solution provider. As you know, we do phone systems for restaurants and small businesses up to full contact center solutions. And we are about to be rolling out middle of the month our newest product, which is our what we call POTS replacements. So copper lines are going away. More and more fibers going in the grounds. You can no longer find POTS service or you need for alarm lines, elevator lines, etc. So we have a certified technology now that allows you to replace POTS lines with full redundancy, including LTE backup over cellular signal to ensure that the lines don't go down. They're also fully monitored, so you get alerts. Unlike an analog line, when the copper gets cut, you don't know it's down till you try to use the phone and it doesn't work. So our solution is fully monitored. It's great for alarm lines, elevator lines. It works for fax lines for people who still want to use old-fashioned fax services. You just plug your fax in and it works. Same thing for point of sale devices. So if you want to ensure your lines that don't ever go down and have full redundancy, it's a new product we'll be rolling out in the next 15 days. Darren Gall, Tracy.net. You can reach us at 800-881-8899 or sales@tracy.net, and that's TRACI.net.
Okay, thank you.
Darren,
Yes.
how did the clients pay for that service?
It's just
So
like you pay for a
basically
phone
you're
line.
Going in and you're going in and replacing their current. I'm not
Yes.
sure what POTS is, but their
Yeah,
current lines.
POTS is like
fiber
it's an
optic.
analog line, and it's not
Okay.
actually a fiber solution. We're
Right.
running it through the cloud, but we have full redundancy. In fact, we have an enclosure we can deploy in something where it's an alarm line, fire alarm line type situation. We have a full enclosure box we put out there that not only has DC backup to keep the devices up and running, but also an AC battery backup as well. So it gives you a minimum of 24 hours of runtime on battery backup. It alerts you if the power goes down. It alerts you if your phone line device goes down. So say you have an elevator phone and someone accidentally disconnects the phone line, it'll alert you so you know that device isn't working. So it's a very proactive solution. We've been working with a few companies to put this together, and it's just now all coming to fruition. We've completed our testing and proofing phase, so it's ready to go. And we would have someone install this. This isn't something that we ship to the customer, they install. And we have installation partners around the country, so we can deploy this anywhere in the United States.
So I've financed in the past when companies, go in and replace all their wiring, fiber optics and stuff like that. do they pay cash for that? Is it a service or is it an ongoing?
Yeah,
fee,
it's a
or how
very,
does
we
it-
just basically do a very small one-time fee for the installation, just basically to cover the cost of the unit. And outside that, it's a monthly service fee. But right now for a copper line in Florida anyway, you pay $99 to $129 a month for that line. Our service is going to be in this around $30 range per line. So
And
it's
how
going
much
to,
is the installation switch out?
it's going to really depend on the environment, probably no more than a couple hours. So, I mean, the total upfront cost is probably going to be in the $700 range max, including all the devices and the labor.
Depending on the size of the company, is that
Yep.
like if there's
Yep.
hundreds
Yeah,
of
this is
people?
typically an 8-line. Well, this isn't for your phone service. This is for your elevator lines, your
Mhm.
alarm lines, a fax line, if you have a fax line, or your point of sale line to give them full redundancy. So we also do the full phone system as well. That's a separate, item. So this brings to the next level. I mean, we've always been able to do the phone systems, but there's been regulations that required analog lines for fire alarms and elevator lines. That's now been changed with what's called POTS replacement, and that's the product that we're offering.
Oh,
Great
Okay,
thank you.
questions.
Thank you. Pam, welcome
Hi,
back.
I'm Pamela. I'm Pamela Hewitt with Navitas Credit. I really am alive and a part of this group. Just haven't seen me in a while. And what I do is I specialize in financing equipment and working capital for companies, manufacturers, and vendors, as well as, to clients direct. So anybody who's selling into a business or, companies or businesses that are expanding or growing, we do offer a very lucrative referral fee. And for our vendors, we have, we co-op marketing, design flyers, website links, trade show support. You receive a percentage of each funded deal. So it's a lot of really great stuff that we offer for vendors and companies that sell to help them close more business. So I'd love to work with any of y'all and all of y'all.
How do we reach you?
My phone number at cell is 813-531-0654. And my email, you'll have it on the list. It's phewitt@navitascredit.com, but you'll have to look it up. You won't be able to spell that out without me spelling it. So
The
thank you.
reason I ask that because people are watching, and if people are watching on YouTube, they want to.
Oh, okay.
They're
Well,
not
I
seeing
can
the
spell
chat.
it out.
No, it's all
P
right.
as in Pam, HEWETT at Nancy A. Victor ITAS credit.com.
Okay,
Hewitt
good.
at navitascredit.com.
Thank you. Terry Lena, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Terry Lena and I work for Workwear Outfitters. We are a manufacturer of workwear apparel, launching a new line of culinary apparel. You can reach me at 720-244-4972 or Terry, TERRY.LENA at WWOF.com.
Great, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
How about John Bunn? Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. My name is John Bunn. I'm with the BH Bunn Company. We manufacture string tying machines. We are a fortunate company that has been around for a long time. Literally pick an industry, we're in it. We use environment-friendly materials. Give us an opportunity to help you bundle your things. We can do bakery boxes, pizza boxes, clothing, laundries, cinnamon sticks, metal products, just about anything you can think of. As you can see, our number is 800-222-BUN. Emails info@buntyco.com, and our website is buntyco.com, that we've got videos and all sorts of information. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. I'm going to go to Gabby next before she drops off again. Gabby. Gabby.
It might be too late.
I think she's in a car, so she's having difficulty.
Yeah.
Okay, TR and Terry, go.
Save me for last because I'm looking for something that might be useful to everyone here.
Okay. Terry R, good morning.
Good morning.
Completing our Terry group.
My name is Terry Ark. I am the owner of Creative Business Impressions. I am a promotional products distributor. Anything that you can possibly think of to put your logo on. I always like to promote something on each of our meetings. So this morning, we have badges. Your logo with your individual person's name on it, great for restaurants. And the programs for most of these companies, because there's a lot of turnaround in the restaurant industry, a lot of times what you can do is you can order, let's say 25 of them, but you don't need to have them printed all at once. So you can do like a standing order for whatever. And each time you have a new employee, you can add their name and it's already done. Terry, Creative Business Impressions. My phone number is 561-308-1393. And I put my information in the chat.
Thank you. Chris Rodriguez.
Good morning. Kevin may get on later. Mulholland looks like he's busy traveling the world. If you follow him on Facebook, I've never seen anybody pops up in a different city as much as he does.
It's amazing. He's like Waldo.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, exactly. Where's Mulholland? Anyway, so we are strategic supply chain partners. We function as an outsourced purchasing department for our client restaurant groups. We specialize in small to mid-market restaurant companies that typically aren't able to hire higher level procurement expertise. So we let them outsource it to us, and we bring large organization purchasing expertise to these smaller companies. We are 100% contingency based, although we are offering a couple other platforms now, fee based with a percentage, a flat fee based on dollar volume management. It seems like some people are interested in other ways of doing business with us other than a contingency thing. We typically save between 8 and 15%. I don't know, every time I say that, people think you're nuts, you can't do that. We do it all day long. It's really because we know the questions to ask that the typical restaurateur just doesn't know what to ask or how to ask to get what they need out of their suppliers. So we bring those savings to them, and we keep a percentage of the savings we deliver as our fee structure. We have clients throughout the United States. We just landed a big deal out on the West Coast, a fresh salad concept we're very excited about. Have several others in the works right now, and continue to add to our client base. We've got relationship with all the major distributors and manufacturers out there. We can help anybody save money. We have a great referral program too, 10% for the life of an agreement we put in place with a client and their distributors. So that could be ongoing revenue streams for multiple years for anybody that would be interested in being a referral partner. So once again, strategic supply chain partners, and all of our contact information, I think, is included in the email that gets sent out after the meeting. So thanks.
I gave Kevin a lead of a Florida-based chain, and he had an initial conversation with the area manager, and he was all excited about it, and he's bringing it to corporate. So I hope that materializes.
Kevin's got a ton of good activity right now. That reverse trade show, he's got, I think, 20 contacts he made. We've got a couple of meetings already set up, so that's been really good. So, and we appreciate all the referrals.
Right. Okay. John Marinak, good morning.
Good morning, Howard. How are you?
Great.
I'm John Marinak Food Service Consultants, and we design restaurants. So if you need a restaurant design, we're the people to call. And just right now up at Penn State University, and as you can see, I've been munching on some caramel corn. We just helped the university fixed their caramel corn machine. So I tasted that and it turned out really well. So it's a little early in the morning, but it's still good. Anyway, if you need a restaurant design, we're the people to call. And if we're not associated with any kind of equipment manufacturers, so we design what's right for you, and then you can go out and shop your equipment, or if you need it shopped, we can do that for you as well. Our number is 954-817-1183. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jeff Krantz, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Jeff Krantz, Co-Card Payment Systems, one office out of a 60 office chain. We do credit card processing, any type of electronic transactions. We work with all three of the major processors in the United States. And what we're focusing on and have been focusing on for the last 3 weeks has been cash discount. Every single store that we set up with cash discount, which means that they don't pay any fees on their credit cards. They are just so happy with the fact that we set them up over the last couple of months, and we're getting all the feedback now that they're not paying fees. It allows them to increase their pricing, even if it's just by a few pennies here and there, but it makes them much more profitable, and they have less to yell and scream about. That's it.
How can we reach you?
With both hands. No. No, you can reach me at 954-473-1819 or my cell phone 954-232-6619, or reach me at cocardps at cocardps.com. That's our webpage. Or CoCard, we have, again, 60 offices. So if you just press in CoCard, you're going to get all the offices in our main unit in Nashville, Tennessee.
You got the brains of the operation with you today?
That and a cup of coffee, which makes my mouth move faster.
Me too.
All right. TRN Terry, good morning.
Good morning. Hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial Day. It is special to a lot of people. At any rate, I am working triple hard because I had a week's full of guests, but I handled the lead reports and the office, and what I do is to make sure once a month you get your leads. Now, last month they came out early, a day or so. This month could be the 10th instead of the 9th, and we're working super hard to get them to you by the 9th. And what those are for anyone watching is to let people know where you are, who you are, where you are in the development phases, and about when you're going to open, the owner's name, owner's email address, and the phone number. Those can be sorted. They are in an Excel spreadsheet format. You can put them any way that you like, zip code, city, whatever. Again, and then if anyone wants a sample, just email me. I'm happy to. I sent everybody that I send a sample to, I get, well, I'd say 98%. I get a year, contract. So any bit, if it's online, if you order online and go to our website, it's $4.99 for the year. Anybody in the group here, I think that we're holding it at $4.29, which is the old price, because it's been $4.89 forever. So group price $4.29. That is for a year and for 12 reports. And there are 60 to 80 or 90 new leads every single month, which is unheard of. Thank you. Have a good weekend. I will be working.
Okay. Helen, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great.
Okay. We started Delicious Spoonfuls. as a nonprofit to employ people with special needs, especially those with Down syndrome and autism, in our traveling ice cream cart business. And we are looking currently for more opportunities to showcase our staff and our ice cream at different events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, parties, business openings, anything to engage your retail business and to get more people in front of it. We are looking for networking events, business expos, green markets, any ideas. I'd love you to call. My phone number is 561-676-2078. And our website is deliciousspoonfuls.org. And any ideas, give me a call. And I also would like to thank some of the members of this group who've either I've done business with, gotten some feedback from, to redirect me, and everybody's been super helpful.
That's it. That's what we try to do.
Right.
That's the whole idea of the group.
Right.
Thank you. I'm going to just bring it up to you again. The Y in Boca might be a great place for you.
Yes, we're trying to find the right person to talk to and this and that, you know.
Okay.
And we're also looking to do some vendor events, so we're looking for opportunities for that.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? No? Okay. I'm Howard Appel. I'm the founder and publisher of Today's Restaurant News since 1996. And we welcome you to join us at the meeting, whether you're a vendor or a restaurateur or manager or chef. So if you'd like to join us, give us a call at 561-620-8888 or go to our website, trnusa.com. Came across another article that's, it's funny. There's so many things going on with the food service industry, in all industries generally. Business is tough. Labor is still tough. Terry and I went out to lunch with our guests on Wednesday and went to a local sports bar chain. And when we got there, we were told that we had a 5 to 10 minute wait for a table because they didn't have enough servers in a certain section. And this is, 1 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon during Memorial Day week. So, and this is the second time this has happened to us at the same location. I guess my overall question is, what do you see happening with labor in restaurants? I have an idea that might fly, but I'll keep that for the end. I mean, do you see technology helping with that? Do you see robotics helping with that? Do you see, I don't know the 100% answer, but does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Hey, Howard, I'll chime in. During season, right up until the middle of May, the activity, the overall receipts, business hours, everything was pretty strong. Still, though, from an employee roster standpoint, struggling quite a bit. Now, what I'm seeing is cut hours. Now that season's over, shorter hours, and not as much activity. Going into the summer months, and a lot of them are preparing with our lending company to cover that operating expense. So it's still a struggle, but good thing out of it was that this season was very successful for the restaurateurs, but hours are being cut to offset the lack of employees.
I think the problem obviously is the labor problem, but it's like a city that we live in. We have 2 colleges here, and a lot of the restaurants employ students during the school year. and when the school year ends, they disappear. And
Yep.
that's May through November, actually through September.
Yep.
So that's and in Florida, and particularly Florida population in the past has gone down during the summer months, but now there are more people living here year round, so it's getting more difficult to get people full time.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna, Jeff, you remember, did you have something, Chris?
I have a ton of stuff on this subject, having spent my entire career in the business. A lot of smaller restaurateurs are so tactical, they don't think at a higher level, they don't think at a strategic level. They don't have a annual plan for recruiting and hiring to deal with the seasonal ups and downs.
Right.
Okay. And, a lot of markets have seasonality to them. Here in Louisiana, you would think we're pretty stable because we're, New Orleans is supposed to be one of the premier food towns, but we're very, very, dependent on tourism business, and things die here during the summer. So you have to plan for that. Part of that is when you hire your people. I mean, if you want them to stay with you, and you want people who can be full-time, not just college students, you have to explain to them, you have to budget your income. Too many servers, they get all that cash coming in as fast as they make it to go out and blow it. And they don't plan for slow season. So that's an issue that needs to be dealt with, on how you hire and how you explain to people what the business they're getting into. But, bigger issue for me is, and I might be jaded, but I think our industry has been demonized for far too long by certain members of certain political parties that I won't discuss, and by the media, because they refer to it as menial service jobs. And the problem is they're not. Okay, they added that, people who aren't in the industry think everybody in the restaurant industry is getting paid minimum wage, and that's not what it is. 20 years ago, I had to pay dishwashers almost double the minimum wage in New Orleans to be able to hire people. Okay, we have waiters that work for long-term established restaurants here in New Orleans that make $100,000 a year waiting tables. Why do we allow people to demonize our restaurant industry and make it sound like it's terrible work and it's poor jobs, and these are jobs that you don't even want? So we have an entire generation of kids who grow up thinking, I don't want to work in a restaurant. The people aren't even open to the idea of working in restaurants anymore. And I find it frankly sad. There's an entitlement mentality in this country. Everybody's supposed to go to college. Everybody's supposed to have a college degree. And half of these kids, after they get their college degree, they end up, with some degree that's useless in real life. And they'd have been better served investing their time in learning a trade like the restaurant industry, where you can make a decent living. Again, 20 years ago in New Orleans, there was a Houston's restaurant on St. Charles Avenue. They were paying their cooks over $20 an hour 20 years ago.
Holy cow.
Okay, but nobody talks about the kind of career opportunities you have in this industry. You have companies out there, Houston's in their heyday, their general managers are making $150,000 a year. Cheesecake Factory has paid managers over $200,000 a year, and their best general managers got a leased Mercedes-Benz or BMW. I mean, there's really good opportunities in this industry, but we don't talk about it. And we have a media and a political culture that treats these jobs terrible and these careers terrible. I'm sorry. It bothers the hell out of me.
No, you're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%.
It could be so much different. And we do very little within our industry because there's too many people in the industry who look down on their employees just as much as the outside world does. And it's wrong, and it's a shame. A lot of these people, if you just put your hand out and offer them an opportunity to make something out of them. Again, I'm in New Orleans. Half the cooks that work for me barely had a high school degree. Half of them could barely read. You make a choice as a leader of an organization or an owner to say, I'm going to give somebody a hand, a lift up in life. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you make something out of yourself if you want to make something out of yourself. And if more people would take that approach in the industry, and we would take a stand and defend our industry as something noble and honorable, and it's good, decent, honest work, we could attract more people.
Yeah,
You know, there's a lot of people out there
was-
that need opportunities, and we provide opportunities for people that don't have a whole lot of opportunity anywhere else.
Chris,
I
I was going
agree.
to say in the Scandinavian countries, hospitality and hotel management are the #1 degrees kids are coming out of school with. And that's where a lot of the people come from the Scandinavian countries to step into those positions. The
Mhm.
US does a horrible job of promoting that, as you said, as an actual professional career. It's always thought of as this is what you do while you're in high school till you get your degree and can get a quote unquote real job. That's the downfall. So 100% spot on that. And if we took, I think, what our industry here needs to do is look at what they're doing in the Scandinavian countries and why is that the #1 degree that students are seeking in those countries.
Yeah,
You
So
know,
because-
the
why aren't
saddest thing is,
let me be the devil's advocate here. Wouldn't the responsibility to promote that message be the responsibility of the corporations in the industry as well as the associations, that they should be
well,
out there?
that's
their
part of what I'm
job.
saying. We need to do a better job. We need
Yeah.
to do a better job, you know.
I mean, the government's
the
not going
company
to
that I
spread
was
the word.
the
The
company I
media
was
is not
CEO
gonna.
for here in the New Orleans area, you know, our first, what we called Big Harry Audacious goal was not about growth. It was not about revenue. It was not about profit. It was about opportunity in the industry. And our message was, we want this to be more than a job. We want it to be an opportunity of a lifetime. And we built an entire culture around opportunity. You're going to learn something. You're going to grow. We had tremendous levels of engagement. We had 34% turnover year over year. Y'all have heard me talk about this before. Year over year, 34% turnover in an industry that quotes 100% plus. How do you do that? You teach your people, you train your people, you care for your people, you provide opportunity, you give them a career path, you create growth for them. There's so many things that you can do. And by the way, the byproduct of that is they do a fantastic job taking care of your customers. You know what else? Likes attract likes in this industry. If you attract the best and the brightest, other people like that will want to work for you. And, you know, every time we talk about the restaurant industry is understaffed and, you know, we can't get help, et cetera, et cetera, there's always a restaurant or two out there that's a completely different story that you can walk into and they're staffed and everything is on point. And it goes back to how they recruit, how they hire, how they treat their people, how they create engagement.
Like Texas Roadhouse.
You know, I happen to, old buddy of mine, Mark Simpson, for years was the senior HR guy. We worked together in New Orleans years ago. He, you know, him and the other people that went over there created a fantastic culture in that organization. So there's a select few that get it right and a vast majority that can't. But Pamela, you're right. I mean, it starts with the people in the industry.
Well,
Jeff.
from my standpoint, we see a lot of small restaurants. And small restaurants, the constant gossip in that thing is cutting corners, always trying to make an extra dollar. Oh, they don't look at the long-term effect of losing their staff, losing their waiters. You'd be surprised how many small restaurants people go back to because they like the waiters. They like the way they're taken care of. But the workers don't last because the owners are always trying to cut corners. Now they don't even look at their business as being long-term. They're constantly looking at their business as short-term. Are we going to make it through the next 6 months? Well, you know what? If you have that mentality, get out of the business, because no matter what business you're in, if you look at it like that, you're not going to be out there long enough to make any effect with your customers.
You know, Jeff, you're absolutely right. So along with strategic supply chain, I have a consulting business. I work with companies on organizational culture, engagement, all this other kind of stuff. And my starting point is always, what's your turnover? Because people don't understand the cost of turnover. And even if they do, they accept it as cost of doing business. And if every dollar you're bleeding as a company with turnover, if you would invest that on the front end with training and development and benefit programs and paying your people properly, the return on investment is astronomical. There's an absolute mathematical correlation between low turnover, high engagement, better revenue, better profitability. But to your point, Jeff, because they're so tactical and still so can't see past today, to get people to understand, stop the turnover and invest in your people it's brutal, and it's frankly it's sad.
Well,
But Howard, I'll get off. I always end up on a soapbox, and I always get too passionate about this stuff. But
no, you're
dude,
100%
I'm telling
right.
you, this
No,
industry
you
can
and you
do
have a good
something
audience.
different.
Nobody even breathes. So
Well,
just
you know what? There's something called reality. And if all of us don't look at reality of what the retailers are going through, we're distancing ourselves from the problems that we face on a daily basis. We have to talk to the merchants, tell them what we think they should be doing. And if they don't listen, they're the losers, not us.
Well, let me throw something else out there. Okay. Not just restaurants, every industry I've done consulting
Well,
with.
we do business with all the different retail operations.
And they all suffer the
Not
same
just
problem.
restaurants.
When you talk about staffing shortages, well, we need experienced people. My response to that always, where they're going to get the experience from.
right.
If everybody's waiting on experienced people to show up at their door, where they're going to get the experience from. Somebody has to decide, I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to take people and train them myself and develop them. By the way, when you do that, you get better engagement. You get more loyal people because you invested something in a fellow human being to give them a hand up in life. This is just not that hard.
And
I'm
they
gonna-
look
I'm gonna
at
ask you a
as
question.
mentor. I mean, you're their mentor, and you can train them your way, not somebody else's.
I want to ask you a question. You and Kevin have chain restaurant experience, and Jeff will agree to this. Years ago, when you went to a restaurant, somebody else mentioned there was a waiter there, or hostess, or a manager who'd been there for 20 years. That was their profession. That was, like you went to Katz's or Lundy's or any of the big steak chains in Manhattan or whatever. You knew that Joe was going to be there waiting on you, and that's the guy you wanted to wait on you. So the fact is, if training somebody and then keeping them, and you're 100% right, Chris, that the public relations for this industry is woefully bad. And that's an area that perhaps the National Restaurant Association ought to take a look at and start a campaign, to promote jobs in the industry. And I have an idea, and I'm going to ask you.
They need to take a hard look at it. Years ago, I went to a national restaurant, not a national, regional restaurant show. And I think it was at the Javits Center in New York. And the number one technology this is years ago, this is a bit old school, but the number one technology everybody was promoting was security cameras. And it wasn't security cameras to protect your customers and protect your employees from the bad guys that might want to do something. It was security cameras because you don't trust your employees.
Yeah.
And the attitude was, well, they're just restaurant employees. They're going to steal from me anyway. So until the restaurant industry, people, insiders at large decide to have a better attitude about their own people than their restaurant people, they're just going to steal from me. So I need cameras to look over, because you know what, if you basically show somebody you don't trust them,
What happens?
what are they going to do?
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you a question. In other industries that I've been involved with, there's two things that I was going to bring up. One of them was incentive systems within a corporation. Traditionally in the garment industry, the more work an operator did in a shorter period of time, they got more money. So they had a skin in the game. If in the restaurant industry, if staff was given some sort of a incentive to do the right job and stay a long period of time, even profit sharing or minimal ownership, in the big corporation, I'm not saying that, Joe's Pizzeria is going to be able to do this, but in the larger companies, I think that might have a place. What do you think?
They actually are doing that. They're saying if you stay 6 months, you can get a $200 bonus or a $300 bonus. And by that time, they're trained and they like it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about making it a career.
Right. But once you're there long enough and you see that somebody is trusting you and giving you something for your hard work and believing in you, and you get that bonus,
That's the
then they
problem.
can even offer you something and then another 6 months,
Yes.
Yeah, but in between.
But that
all of
is the problem, because in the restaurant business, nobody has that attitude. Most of the stores are not on the level that they look at expansion. They're looking at survival.
right?
And when you look at survival, you are supposed to be looking for people that could be there when you're not. But instead, they're always worried about somebody taking something from them, stealing or something. Their attitude for the small restaurant, not the multiple store. The multiple stores are the ones that have that attitude. But the smaller ones, the majority of the restaurants out there, they don't work that way. They are
You're
still
right.
with that street attitude of they're stealing from me, they're taking from me. And when I'm gone, what am I going to do? I have nobody to trust.
You're right.
That's true.
The big companies, Kevin can attest to this, we had we had all kind of incentives. You had incentives for your salespeople, to sell more. You cook. I used to do monthly food cost bonuses with kitchen staff. Okay, you guys save money on kitchen, we'll share X amount of the savings back with the team. It's amazing how quickly your food cost starts to drop when you put a little out there and give them a little skin in the game. But Jeff, you're right. The big companies get it. The really big companies, years ago, Outback was one of the first ones where the general manager actually got a piece of equity in the deal. They'd actually finance your ownership. Kevin, you did PF Chang's. I think PF Chang's had a similar model, correct?
Yep, I was a market partner.
There's so many things you can do, but you can't start small-minded. And you can't start not trusting your fellow human beings.
Can I?
A lot of times, I'm sorry, Terry, go ahead.
I have an aunt who was a waitress all of her life up in New York, and she moved, as far as I'm aware of, she's retired now, but she probably went to maybe 10 different restaurants, but stated that this was her career. And one of the only reason she ever left the restaurant was because of her boss, not because of dealing with the customers. The customers, in my view, the customers are where she's going to really make her money because she gets tips. But it was her boss, how the boss treated him. Because
so Terry, part of my consulting business, again, I spent a lot of time talking to people about engagement. Gallup does an annual engagement survey. It's really sad. A couple of years back, they were all excited because the number was 32% of employees in America are considered engaged to highly engaged. 32%. That means the other 2/3 are disengaged, mildly to actively disengaged, means they don't care, they don't give discretionary effort. And to add to that, absolutely, without question, studies have proven this over and over and over again. The number one reason people will leave a job is not pay, it's not benefits, it is the way they are treated by their immediate supervisor.
In any field.
So you can put all the bribes out there in the world.
Yeah.
You can have all the pizza parties in the world, all the incentive bonuses for hanging around in the world that you want. But if you don't know if you don't know how to treat people correctly, treat them like a fellow human being, courteous and respectful. And it's as simple as, before you tell them, here's your prep sheet, get to work. How about good morning? Glad to see you here. How you doing? It's just not that hard. Be a human being first.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, you mentioned earlier, Chris, the cult.
I think that's consistent in every industry, really.
It's
I
across
was
every
gonna
industry.
say that,
Every
yeah.
industry,
Yeah.
it's the same. People quit because the way the immediate boss treats them.
Exactly.
I
And
agree.
that is the culture of a company, which is unknown to many leaders, that their main focus in this industry is to create the right culture. And the way they do that is by how they treat their people. You know, you've all heard people don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel.
Yep.
Well, it takes effort to go and talk with your people to make and find out what makes them feel good at the workplace that they're at, that you hired them in. When you signed that agreement that you're bringing that person on board, you now have a responsibility to make sure they're successful, that you create the right workplace for them to be a part of, and that you're vested in making sure that their success is by the learning of what their job may be and how they're treated while they're there. And if you do that well, they'll stay. And to your point, Chris, that changes the culture, that changes the guest experience, that changes the team member experience, which creates more people who are interested. Because the word on the street is either this: don't go to work at that place because they suck, or go to work at this place because they treat you the right way.
Yep.
And those people that are treating their team members the right way, they're attracting those people that they want to continue to hire in. And the ones that are not treating their people the right way, people are trying to escape as fast as they can. And that's why you have these problems in certain locations. You know, I texted one of my partners. We were in a restaurant in Dallas about a month ago, and they've been in business for like 40 years. And all the restaurants right around were quiet. We went in there at 3 PM. They were on a wait at 3 PM. And when we left at like 8 o'clock, because we were there a really long time for some business meetings and dinner and whatnot, there was still a wait outside. There was a line of people waiting outside. They're doing like $10-15 million a year in sales. And they've been doing that for 35 years. And we talked to the team members, and they're like, how long have you been? I've been here 20 years. I've been here 15 years. I've been here 30 years. I mean, it was just normal. It's like, well, obviously they're busy to supplement and support all those people that are working there. But there was something very electric going on in that building with all those people that were there, because they get it, the ownership gets it, the team members get it, and the customer ultimately has the greatest experience possible. We had a phenomenal experience because everybody was engaged in what they were doing.
Helen,
I was just trying to say, when you spoke about security cameras a while ago, my son is working at Goodwill. He was at another location for 7.5 years. He just started at the new one in Boca. And they had a meeting where they were telling people, which he'd heard at the other location, that they're going to have security cameras everywhere in the store and in the break room. And when they leave to close, they check every employee's bag to see nobody's stolen anything. My son doesn't steal anything, so that's not an issue. But they check everybody. The assumption is you're all thieves, and we just have to figure out which one of you is. You know, as opposed to you're here to earn a living.
I think that's probably a lot to do with the way the culture is right now, because it's been on the news lately of all the thefts and things like that too. So the lack of trust is there, not that they are, you know, I mean, it's a major problem. But again, like we were talking about, when you have people, my ex-husband and I had a company, we had 100 employees. They stayed with us. Some of them stayed with us for a very, very long time because of the way they were treated. But there's always going to be those that, you know, there's always going to be somebody that's going to, you know, ruin it for everybody.
You know what? With the bottom line, I think, you know, I know that I have the same mentality throughout this whole thing. But when a restaurant, they all start out small. They all think of themselves as going to be successful, but they don't treat their employees for success. They treat them as if they're just going to be part-timers. Let's treat them until they leave. They're never looking for even a cook or dishwashers or people in the back. They're never looking to make the advancements on the people that are working for them right now. They're always looking at just one thing, their survival and nothing else. And the stores that become multiple operations are the stores where the mentality is, we've got to treat these people properly because we're going to need them for the next store.
Yeah.
Or we're going to need them to take care of the people that we hire after them. You know, they never look for expansion. And those restaurants, those people, whether it be restaurants or retail stores, doesn't matter. They all have the same mentality. And most of us are dealing with single stores that are that we want to be successful, or we need them to be successful for our own businesses as well. They don't treat us any better. And the reason I'm saying this is the other day I walked into one of our restaurants in Cooper City, and the merchant, as I was leaving, goes, by the way, in the other end of the shopping center, they're opening up another restaurant of a different, a Spanish restaurant in there. He's not worried about his business.
What?
There's another restaurant opening up. He wasn't looking that he's going to lose business. He's looking to help the other guy to make that shopping center more successful. That guy that's looking at the future and not looking at today.
Jeff, can I ask you a question? You said it was a Spanish restaurant. The gentleman you were talking to, was he Spanish?
No, not at all.
Because I'm wondering if he could be opening a restaurant at the other end, the same owner.
No, this was a restaurant coming up from Miami and opening up in the shopping center.
Okay.
Why don't you go over there and see if you can help them too? Because he appreciated the fact that we look at every single one of our customers as not just customers. We're there to help them because it helps us.
Well, I think that's great. I think that that was great that he's trying to help someone else.
So I mean, if you don't treat your customers like you want to keep them forever, they treat their employees the same way.
Right. You're right.
You know, this was an unprepared ad lib conversation that I think went really well, and some good ideas. And I'm going to do some research in the restaurant industry to try and change the PR that we're getting, and I'll have something written up shortly. Anyhow, if anybody would like to join us in future meetings, give us a call at 561-620-8888 or go to our website at trnusa.com. Thank you all for coming. Have a great weekend. I'll keep the window open if you want to continue the conversation.